Hey guys, welcome to the Jack Allen Real Estate Company market update for February of 2023. Today we're going to talk about mostly the data from January, the month that we just closed, but we're also going to go back and talk a little bit about what 2022 looked like. These are the questions that we get from clients, friends, people that we see out in the community. And so we're going to hit these three main bullet points today. Number one is, what do inventory levels and interest rates look like? Number two is, what are home prices doing? And then the third one is now a good time to buy or sell? This presentation is primarily using data from the Woodlands. If you guys have paid attention to what we've done in the past, I've hit South Montgomery County as well. I'm going to do that in a separate video, so pay attention for that one. So let's jump right in and look at inventory. And so these are the statements that we hear in the news from our colleagues that are out there, and just from people that are out in our community. And the three statements that we hear are: inventory is increasing, inventory is higher than it was last year, and more inventory is coming. And so all of that, of course, relates to maybe there's going to be lower prices coming in our direction if inventory is going through the roof. So we're going to touch on those, and we're going to start with the very first one, which is inventory increasing? And so in order to do that, we're going to look at the active listings in the Woodlands. And we're going to start in July of 2022 because this was our high point over the last year. And so July of 2022, we had 198 active listings in the Woodlands. We're going to look at each month moving forward. Through October, we were pretty much at the same level. We're down to 193. You're not going to notice a huge difference with 5 listings. Once we hit November, then we were down to 183. And then we hit December, we were down to 153. And now in January, we had 136 active listings that were on the market at one point or at any point in January of 2023. So the statement inventory increasing, that is false. What we're actually seeing is inventory levels are going down over time here in the Woodlands. So what is actually happening though out there, because there is a perception of there being more homes that are available. So we're looking at those same months right here. The clearance rate is going down. Now the clearance rate is the rate at which houses go off the market. Okay. So what we're seeing in July is 75% of our homes were purchased. What we're seeing in January is only 48.5% of our homes were purchased. Okay. Now what that gives us is a surplus inventory of 79 and 70 homes in December and January that did not sell during that time. So in our mind, as we're looking through and flipping through the map on HAR, we're seeing a lot more green listings that are out there, and it gives us a false sense of there being more inventory. Yes, at the end of the month, there's more inventory that is available, but overall, there's fewer homes that are being listed. Now, you compare that to surplus inventory earlier toward the middle of last year in the summer months, July, August, September, and we were hovering right around 50. So that's very different. Now, the reason that's different, if we look at the number of sales, the sales are significantly lower from where we were in the middle of the summer, which is really typical for this time of the year. But you can see we've only got 66 sales in all of the Woodlands in January. And guys, that's every price point, all the way from 0 up to $20 million. Okay, so fewer buyers, fewer sales obviously is going to equal more leftover homes when we get to the end of the month. Okay, so if we have boots on the ground, what we're actually seeing are fewer buyers in the marketplace. This results in fewer showings on listings, but the showings that we're getting on the listings, these are serious buyers. There's not that many looky-loos out there, okay? And so that's a really good thing. Now, excuse me, oh my goodness, what is actually happening out here, if we look at what happened to us in September, our interest rates went up to 6%. They surpassed 6%. In October, they went over 7%. And then I want you guys to remember that the real estate market is reactionary, okay? So let's draw this out, what this looks like on this chart here. September, we hit 6%. October, we hit 7%. Now, if you look at where the line is drawn, that's where we start seeing fewer sales, because again, it's reactionary. So whatever happens in October, we're going to feel it in November and December. Whatever happens in September, we're going to start to feel it in October. We're going to feel it big time in November. Okay, so that's what we're seeing are the reactionary effects of what the interest rates were doing at that time. Okay, so higher interest rates does equate to fewer buyers, which again, that's why we're seeing and having the feeling of there being more inventory available. It's not more inventory, guys. It's fewer buyers that are in the marketplace. Okay. Another statement that we hear is inventory is higher than it was last year. Okay, so let's look at what January looked like. So we're going to go year over year. So January of 2022, we had 93. January of 2023, we had 136. So that is true. Okay, we do have more listings that were available than they were a year ago. in January of 2020. Look at our sales difference though, guys. Okay, so we're seeing fewer buyers that are out there in the marketplace again. So again, that's what we're seeing and getting a feel that inventory is not only a little bit higher, but it feels like it's significantly higher, which is a big deal. Okay. Now, the final statement that we hear regarding inventory, and we see this in our colleagues a lot on social media, see it out in the community when I'm eating at a restaurant. I hear somebody talking real estate with the next table over. The word on the street is that more inventory is coming. Okay, guys. I'm not even going to true or false this one. What I want you to know, though, is that it is absolutely impossible to predict the future, and that's all these people are trying to do. However, what we can do is let's look at it from an educated guess perspective. Okay, so the market cooled when we surpassed 6% interest rates. They increased to 7%, which really didn't help our cause. The rates have been falling since they hit that 7%. In fact, they're back down to 6.09% as of the end of last week. Our market cooled when we hit 6%. So what we should see is when we get down below 6%, we should see more buyers that enter the marketplace, okay? So interest rates continuing to go down. Obviously, that's a good thing for buyers. That's going to be a good thing for sellers too, because the more buyers that are in the market, the more competition there is to purchase your home. What we're seeing with the interest rates getting lower is that mortgage applications across the country were up 7.4% from where they were before, which is a really, really good sign that we're starting to get more people that are interested in buying homes. Now, home prices in the Woodlands, what are these going to do? Okay, so let's look at what they've done where they've been in the past. And so what we've seen over the course of last year, actually the last 2 years, we've gone up about 13%, 14% on the median in the last 2 years. Okay, so 2022 for the entire year, our median sales price was up almost 14%, which is great. Okay, now if we look at our increase in our property value, our median sales price over the course of the last 5 years, what we see is a 31.6% median sales price increase from 2018 to 2022. Guys, that's awesome. And 25% of that is from 2020 to 2022. And again, that's on the median sales price right there. So that's a really good sign for prices that are in the Woodlands. So year over year, what does that look like? Okay. And more importantly than that, we're looking at this going, okay, the second half of the year was slower. Those interest rates picked up. What did it actually do to the home prices? And so what I want you to look at here from January to 2022 to January 2023, we were at a 22.8% increase in the median sales price year over year, which is absolutely incredible. Okay. So home prices are still increasing significantly in the Woodlands. And you can see that by this chart right here, looking at what it looks like from January to July and from July to January of each year. And as you can see, it's a steady, pretty steady increase. You had a little bit of a decrease right here going into 2022. But since then, guys, we've been going up, and that's a really, really good sign. Okay. Low inventory equals high prices. Okay. So here's our pre-COVID inventory levels. We were at 626 listings in January of 19, January of 20, we were at 497 listings. Look at the number of sales though, y'all. Like that's low, which is pretty crazy. So think about how many of these listings were staying on the market or ended up going withdrawn or expired. Look at January of 2023. We have 136 active listings. Guys, that's 27% of inventory levels that we saw in January of 2020, which was right before COVID started, okay? So 27% of that. This is why our home values are still continuing to increase and still going through the roof, because on a grand scale of what you would call possibly maybe call this a normal market, this is what we were used to before, we're still way lower than we were before as far as our inventory levels go, okay? So currently, right now, there are 126 active listings in the Woodlands. 83 of those are currently pending, and there were 12 closings so far in February. Okay, so the active, pending, and closed gives us 221. That's the opportunities of listings to purchase. That's a clearance rate of 42.9%. So only 43% of our listings are selling. It's still too early in the month to really tell what's going to happen with prices. They could still continue to rise as we progress through the month, and so we'll just have to continue to keep an eye on that. Okay, so is now a good time to buy or sell? I get this question all the time. So let's talk about what's happening, boots on the ground, and we're going to start from the seller perspective. Okay, here's the deal, guys. In any market, if your house is really nice, it's going to sell. Okay, it's got to be nice. It's going to sell. What we're seeing right now is we're seeing fewer showings, but what we're seeing is that these showings are with very serious buyers. In fact, I don't think I've been a part of where I've seen like this many buyers that are just rock solid serious. Okay. And so that's, from a seller perspective, we're still experiencing multiple offers. There's still a very real possibility on the property, especially if you have the right product, if it's prepared well. And then again, with it, if it's prepared well, you have the ability to push the pricing a little bit. Okay. And if you're curious about that, get on the HAR app and just check out listings that are in your area and see what is selling quickly and what has been on the market for a while, guys. The ones that are nice, they're hopping off the market like crazy. Okay. From a buyer perspective, inventory is still limited. Okay. You see the numbers, like there's still not a ton of choices that are out there. And so the pickier that you're going to be, which is totally okay, the more patience that you're going to have to be able to find the right house for you. Okay. Buyers are making offers on listings and they're trying to get a deal. And those buyers are getting beat out by other buyers who have probably done that a few times and are just tired of getting beat out. Or buyers that just go, you know what, like, hey, I need a house. I understand what the inventory looks like. And so I'm going to go ahead and put my best foot forward and purchase this property. The nice homes that are out there from a buyer perspective, those are still going to get multiple offers. So if you guys walk into a place and you're trying to buy, if you walk into a house and it's really awesome, guys, there's probably at least 4, 5, 6 other buyers that are doing exactly the same thing right now. And they're going to go home, they're going to write up an offer. And so what's going to happen is those really, really nice properties that don't need a lot of work, those are going to end up with multiple offers. So if you're a buyer and you've got wiggle room to be able to buy, not a complete fixer-upper, but you know what, maybe something that needs a kitchen update or maybe something that needs a bathroom update. Those are ones that you can go in there and we can say, okay, I'm going to get that for a better deal. I'm going to, probably be able to like talk them down a little bit because of this thing. And then I can go ahead and make that adjustment in that work as soon as I move into the house. Okay. And then what we're also seeing right now is once we get into a contract, guys, there's still not a whole ton of wiggle room once we get past the inspection for repairs. And that's because the inventory is still really low compared to what we're used to. So bottom line, it's now a good time to buy or sell. Guys, it's a personal decision. If it works for you, then yes. Real estate is super hyper local, which is what I want you guys to remember and think about when you're reading articles and scare tactics and whatever that's out on the internet and on your news apps and whatever else. Real estate is hyper local, so the things that are happening all over the country, they're not necessarily happening here. Some of them are, but not all of them. You've got to go beyond the national trends and you've got to study the local data like we're doing right now. Boots on the ground, real life experience is really, really important, which goes along with knowing the market, knowing the area, and then trusting your advisors, guys. That's so important, to trust the people that you've hired to help you buy, to help you buy a home, to help you move. Trust what's going on, and the things that you're reading. Ask us the questions about what we're actually seeing out there because it might be totally different, from the things that you guys are seeing in the news. Okay. Is now a good time to buy or sell? Yes, absolutely. I will always tell you yes, as long as it makes financial sense and logistical sense for you and your family. Okay, so it's not a bad time to put your house on the market right now, especially if it's nice. If we're selling, we want to put our best foot forward, which means we want to go through and we want to do things like paint stuff. Okay. Like spruce up the paint. Let's change the carpet. Let's do, landscaping and give it a really good curb appeal so that you are putting your absolute best foot forward, which is going to attract more buyers and more demand for your property, which pushes the price higher every single time. If you're buying, be ready to be patient, be ready to be aggressive, and be ready to jump on something when the house hits the market. Guys, if it's good, let's go. And that's really what we have to look at. You don't have time to be super selective because there's just not that much stuff out there to select right now. Okay. So guys, it was great giving you this market update. This right here, just so you know, this is my cell phone number. That's my personal cell phone, guys. Call me, text me, shoot me an email, whatever. If you guys have questions about anything that's going on in the market, if you want me to dig into what your specific neighborhood looks like, what your specific property might look like, even if you just like, hey, I just want to know where we're at right now, guys, reach out. Like, that is what I do all day, every day. And I would be so happy to sit down with you and help you through what the value of your property looks like and help you come up with a strategy and a plan for moving your family from point A to point B. Guys, we'll see you soon. I hope you guys have a great rest of the month. Thanks.